Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So this year I'm going to be taking part in Non-Fiction November, and I wanted to share with you all of my non-fiction-y reading plans. So Non-Fiction November was created by Olive at A Book Olive. I will leave her original video linked down below. And the thinking behind Non-Fiction November is simply to encourage you to read more non-fiction than you usually do in November. So if you don't usually read any non-fiction, then read one non-fiction book. If you usually read a few non-fiction books a year, then read loads more. There are word prompts that you can use to help you pick up different types of books. I didn't base my TBR on those word prompts, but you can if you want to. They're really fun and they can definitely be useful. So I wanted to do Non-Fiction November this year for a few reasons. Firstly, I did it last year and it was great. Having a month to just dedicate to reading non-fiction was so motivating and it was so much fun. Secondly, Cameron and I have just moved into our new flat and have organised all of our books, and I think my favourite bookshelf is actually our non-fiction shelf, which is surprising. We have our non-fiction shelf sat between our dining room and our living room, and I just think it works really nicely. It's definitely grabbing my attention much more than it used to and making me want to pick up more books from there. And thirdly, I have just read so little non-fiction this year. I don't tend to read a ton of non-fiction, but this year I think I've read less than I usually do, and that's kind of disappointing, and I just want to read a bunch now. So I've pulled together a bunch of books that I'm really excited about that I think I might pick up next month. I don't know how many of them I'm going to get to, we'll just have to wait and see. So the first book on my TBR is Talking to My Daughter, A Brief History of Capitalism by Yanis Varoufakis. I've actually already started this book and it is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a brief history of capitalism by a world famous economist who is writing the book as if he is talking to his 10-year-old daughter. This is a great book. I am really enjoying it so far. Capitalism and the economy generally is not something I know a ton about. I find it quite confusing, and so I thought this would be a good fit for me, and it definitely is so far. So far, I found the book to be really clear and really consumable. It's pretty short as well. It's only about 200 pages long. I feel like I've learned a lot already. It's definitely cleared a few things up in my head, and I'm really looking forward to finishing it. The second book on my TBR is another one that I've already started. I got really excited when I was putting this list together and just jumped the gun and started a couple. So this one is The Uninhabitable Earth by David Wallice-Wells. In this book, the author basically just details our near future and all of the climate troubles that await us as humans. The main section in this book is split into smaller sections that focus on all of the different areas of our lives that will be affected. So he talks about food and water and the economy, among other things. This book is also going really well so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's very shocking and terrifying, as you would imagine, but it's also strangely fascinating. Like, some crazy shit is gonna happen. David Wallice-Wells is doing a really good job of making the climate crisis seem so real and all-encompassing, which of course it is, and I think it's really important to be reminded of that. I'm hoping that this book continues to be as informative and impactful as it has been so far, and I have a really strong feeling that it will. The next book on my TBR is The Golden Thread: How Fabric Changed History by Cassia St. Clair. So this is a book that I probably wouldn't have picked up for myself, but I actually won it in a giveaway that was hosted by Jen Campbell earlier this year. Thank you, Jen. And now I'm really intrigued by it. Firstly, this book is absolutely gorgeous. It's hardback and cream, and it has these gold threads running through it, and it's so nice. But it also sounds weirdly interesting to me. This book just details the history of fabric over the past 1,000 years, and I imagine that is quite the journey. I imagine this will be a dip in and out of book for me, the kind that I pick up and read a chapter of here and there and don't really read whole chunks of it in one go. But I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to see what this book can teach me. It's definitely unlike anything that I've ever read before. I've heard really, really good things about this. I feel like it's going to be surprisingly fascinating and shine light on some really interesting times and places throughout history, and I'm just really excited to see what this is all about. The next book that I'm interested in picking up in November is Why Women Have Better Sex Under Socialism by Kristen R. Godsey. I believe this book was born after the author spent years researching what happened to the lives of women whose countries transitioned from state capitalism to socialism. Was that the right way around? Socialism to capitalism. Socialism to capitalism. I don't even know what I said anymore. Unsurprisingly, this book ultimately argues a case for socialism. This book apparently explores multiple aspects of women's lives, from work to parenting to sex to relationships to citizenship. This just sounds great to me. I love the idea that it focuses on the lives of women primarily. I think that could be really interesting. It probably doesn't need to be said that I'm going into this book assuming a general stance of agreement with the author, but I want to know what she has to say. I want research, I want information, and I'm interested to see what I make of it. The penultimate book on my TBR is 7 Brief Lessons on Physics by Carlo Rovelli. So this is a book that Cameron and I have had for a while now. He picked it up at some point, I'm not really sure where, and thought that it could be interesting for the both of us. Neither of us have studied the sciences in a while, and it would be fair to say that we don't know a whole ton about physics. I've heard this book described as a playful, entertaining, and mind-bending introduction to physics, which just sounds perfect. I feel like due to the distance that I've had from physics over the past few years, I need this book to be fun and engaging or it won't have me. So I'm hoping that this book is going to be accessible and interesting, and I'm really looking forward to thinking about something that I really don't think about basically ever. And the final book on my nonfiction November TBR is The Philosopher and the Wolf by Mark Rowlands. This is a memoir and it tells the story of Mark and his pet wolf. Yes, you heard me correctly. Mark is a philosopher, and throughout this book he details his relationship with his wolf and how his wolf made him reevaluate certain aspects of his life and person. This is a book that I'm actually reading by recommendation. It's actually my friend Alex's copy. He read this book and loved it and then passed it on to Cam, who read it and loved it, who's now passed it on to me, so now it's my turn. The three of us all actually studied philosophy degrees together, so if they say it's good, then I believe them. I'm expecting this to be reflective and thought-provoking and touching, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it. I love memoirs, I love animals, I obviously love philosophy, so I think this is going to be good. So those are some of the books that I hope to get to next month. I plan to read basically exclusively non-fiction, apart from one fantasy series, which I'm already reading, the Daevabad trilogy. I am reading City of Brass, the first book, right now, and I am absolutely loving it. I cannot express to you how much I'm enjoying reading that book. It is such good fantasy. So I want to continue to read that book, of course, and then probably go on to the second one straight away, as well as reading non-fiction on the side. Are any of you lot partaking in non-fiction November this year? If you are, I would absolutely love to know. What's on your TBRs? Are there any areas of non-fiction that you're particularly interested in reading about? I can't wait to chat to you all down below as always. Please do leave a comment. It absolutely makes my day and I just love hearing from you all. Other than that, I hope your Octobers have been really, really nice. I hope you enjoyed the autumnal spooky season if you were getting into that. I just hope you're all doing really well. I look forward to chatting to some of you soon, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye everyone.